Laurie here with some thoughts about when life begins. Life begins at conception, and God has a plan for each and every little child. David wrote, "I am fearfully and wonderfully made. You knit me together while I was still in my mother's womb." Jeremiah talks about the fact that God had a plan for him before he was even born. Did you know the first person to recognize Jesus was an unborn child? That's right, John the Baptist, in the womb of his mother Elizabeth, jumped in the womb when Mary walked into the room with Jesus in her womb. This is personal to me because I myself was conceived out of wedlock. I was a result of a one-night stand that my mother had in Long Beach, California. But thankfully, my mother did not choose abortion. She chose to give me life, and I'm so thankful for that. The Democratic platform used to be under President Clinton that abortion should be safe, legal, and rare. But today, at the Democratic Convention in Chicago, you can get an abortion on demand. What has happened here? We don't value life as we ought to. We terminate these pregnancies, as we say, but you're taking the innocent life of an unborn child. I remember an occasion that happened a number of years ago when I was at the beach with my family, and my little grandson, Christopher, who was probably a year and a half old, was playing by the water. There was no surf to speak of, but a little wave rolled up and he toppled over, and I was getting up out of my chair to go to him and pick him up, but his mother moved so fast, she already was there before I can fully get out of my chair. She moved like a panther. I've never seen a human move so fast. Why? It's called maternal instinct. It was her instinct to get to her child and save him. So we say, but what if the mother's life is in danger if she finds herself pregnant? Well, most mothers would put themselves in the place of danger to save the life of their child. What about when the child isn't born yet? Let me tell you a story. Let me tell you the story of a woman who lived in Samoa. Her name was Mia Mativa. They called her Tiva for short. Her name actually means poor thing. Well, Tiva got pregnant, and as it turns out, she had a rare blood disease, and there was no cure for it at the time. And she was told by her doctor if she delivered this baby, she would surely die. So the family came in and everyone encouraged Tiva to abort the baby to save her own life, and she agreed to it, and she signed the papers to do so. After her family left, Tiva called the doctor back in and said, "I want to talk to you, doctor. I do not want to terminate my pregnancy. I do not want to take the life of my unborn child. I'm asking you to go ahead and deliver the baby." Well, the doctor delivered the little baby, and tragically, Tiva died giving birth. She named that little baby Moses, who was then adopted by Tiva's sister. Moses, last name Katina, went on to marry, and he and his wife had 12 children and 34 grandkids and 21 great-grandkids. By the way, that's 67 in total. And all of those descendants of Tiva have come to Christ, and 14 of them are in ministry today. In fact, that wonderful singing band, the Katinas, are part of the legacy of Mia Mativa. By the way, even though her name meant poor thing, she ended up doing a great thing. Yes, she made the ultimate sacrifice, but look at all of the lives that were impacted as a result of that sacrifice. We don't think these things through. We think, oh, just go ahead and get that abortion. It won't matter. You don't think about children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and you don't think about the pain it will cause you. Suicide rates are far higher among women who have had abortions and those who have not. And sometimes the impact of taking the life of that unborn child does not fully dawn on the mother who did so until later in her life. I think of one lady I know who still struggles this day, years after she had that abortion, with her decision. But here's the good news. God can forgive all sin. And if you've had an abortion, you must call out to the Lord and ask him to forgive you. And you can rest assured in this promise that you will see your child again. That child is with the Lord. And if you put your trust in Christ, you will see them in the afterlife in heaven. But in the strongest terms I can find, I say to any mother out there, if you find yourself pregnant, don't abort that child. Have the baby. Put it up for adoption. There's many families just looking for opportunities to adopt a child or maybe raise the child yourself. But don't take the life of that innocent child. They're made by God, and God has a plan for their life. I'm glad my mother made that decision.